fun announcements coming up today, and I get to share one of them with you guys. So the very first exciting thing is I want to share with you guys is it's been on my heart for like a year or so now to update our logo and do some things like that. And I just thought, wow, what the perfect time to do an update on our branding, because we're going to come into this building. We got to buy everything anyway, so we might as well freshen it up a little bit. If you don't know this, Life Christian Church has been around for over 20 years. Pastor James and Tracy, I met them in Michigan 10 years ago, and they thought they could get rid of me by moving to Florida, and I just followed them. So, but the church has been around for over 20 years, so Rachel, go ahead. That was our logo over 20 years ago. Spirit Life, and it was actually Spirit Life Christian Center, and I think they changed it to Spirit Life Christian Church, because if you were a center back in the day, that was all the rage for churches. So that's where we started 20 years ago. You want to go to the next one? And then we became Life Christian Churches, not Life Christian Church, but Life Christian Churches. And we have kind of like a world logo back there. And actually, Pastor James made this one, guys. So, yep. Photoshop 4, maybe? I don't know. So he made this logo. We kind of got a blue, our blue color came from this logo, so to speak. And then we had a company come in. You go to this next one, and they helped us do a little bit of branding. And this is where the tree came back from the original logo. We kept the blue, and go ahead to the next one. And I think this one's from 2012. This is where we updated. We got our new blue from, and the logo that we currently have. So go ahead, put them all four up. So this is where we've been and where we've come to. We had this task before us now to update, to see what the future of what our church would actually look like. So we did what any good church designing crew would do. We went to Google, we picked the best image, and now that's our logo. No, we did not. We put together a team. We got a designer together. We got a marketing team together, people who are in this industry, and we asked them to collaborate and come together to figure out what the best thing would be. So if you go to the next one. So here's our logo. So we got our team together, and go to the next one. We started doing some things. I got him up there on the left. Our designer went nuts, and he just started doing all kinds of stuff and exploring different areas. And we're like, no, we kind of like the tree. I don't think we want to break away so much from our tree, and the arrows are cool, but so let's keep going. So he started to develop the tree a little bit more, and he got a couple different ideas going. Go to the next one. And I kind of thought, actually the blue color that we have actually came from Pastor James, and I don't really know if he knew what he was doing. So like, trees aren't blue, they don't really represent life. He gave me permission to tease him, so. Trees aren't blue. They don't really represent life. So let's explore some green options. So we started to explore with some green options. Go to the next one. And then, we as working with the logo over all these years, we've actually kind of struggled with the complexity of our logo and how big it was and how can we put it on things. And it's really hard to make a bumper sticker with the tree. So we wanted to simplify it a little bit. So we started to explore simplified logos with the leaves and other things. And go to one more. So we started to simplify it out, and we kind of got it honed in. So you guys ready to see? You guys ready to see it? All right, go to the next one. So that's what we came up with. We soloed it down to just a single leaf because we do believe, well, there's a lot. I can get really poetic if you want me to, but we believe that God goes after the one. And we're a church that so believes in your growth and what God wants to do through you. So the leaf, it represents that growth to us and what God's doing in the individual life. Go ahead, go to the next slide. So we kind of got some mock-ups for you guys. So it's real simple to put the logo, the icon on things where we've always struggled with that before. Cool bottles, cool journals. Go ahead, go to the next one. Cool shirts. We're going to have a lot of shirts coming up. The leaf represents growth. I'm going to read it just off this screen. Growth, harmony, and restoration. The leaf represents the growth process that Life Christian provides for its members, no matter where they are on their walk with God. You can keep it right there. So that's what we put together as a team for you guys, and we just wanted to share that with you because we believe that's so exciting for us going forward. We believe that this is going to keep us up to date because really, what do we want to do as a church? We don't call churches Christian centers anymore. We're all about reaching the people who don't know God. So we want to simplify this. We don't want to have anybody worried about coming into Life Christian Church Center or Spirit Life Christian Center from like 20 years ago. So we always want to update and stay fresh so we can reach people. So, Pastor James.
So you sound happy so far. So we thought that was it. We thought it was a logo. We thought it was a color. We appreciate all the hard work that went into this design and this color selection. And we thought that was it. But it kind of seemed like God had more in store because we started to, Pastor Tracy and I, started to have conversations with people in the community or even staff members or others. And it just seemed to be happening all at once. When conversations start to happen and you start going, wait, I just said that yesterday. Wait. And it just starts popping up more and more and more. And you start going, wait, what is God trying to say here? So what was happening is people were saying things like, oh, so you're Life Church. So you're probably related to the Life Church in Tulsa. And we're like, no, we're not that cool. And then they were like, oh, so you're probably related to Life Christian Center over in North Carolina. And we're like, no, we're not that cool. And then, or in Fort Myers, there's a Life Church. Or on Golden Gate Parkway, there's a Life Church. It seemed to me like we were seeing Life Churches all over the place, and they weren't related to us. It seemed like a great name for a church, and it seemed like everyone came up with that idea in every town across America. So we went back to our marketing team, and we said, what do you guys think if we were to actually go one step further and look at what this church is all about? And we started asking the difficult questions. And I think Mike Comera, where are you at? I saw you in here somewhere. There he is. He asked the question. So here's what we should be looking at. If you were to bleed, what would you bleed as a church? What would come out of your veins? What do you guys do that nobody else does? Or what is your number one thing that you guys do? And then when we're challenged to that, then start looking at, does that match where you want to go as a church even in your future? So here's what we started to do. We started to say, what if we're not stuck with the name Life Christian Church or Life Church, what would it possibly be? And we continued to go back to this one word. And we felt like this is a word that defines all of us together and us as a church, because we're always talking about our next steps. If you go to Life Christian Church, you always have a next step. So we're so interested in the growth of every single person. We decided I think that we're going to unveil something down here at the same time, maybe, but you got to be careful because there's a bunch of people sitting on it. So we decided, with a big team and the staff and the board of trustees and a lot of prayer, we decided that this church is all about, go ahead, grow. We decided that Life Christian Church, when we move into this facility, that our new name, our new brand is going to be Grow Church. So we are extremely excited about that. Now, let me challenge the word like we did in our marketing meetings. We challenged it well, you got to say it in every context, right? You have to say it let's try this. Let's try Grow Kids. Let's try this. Hey, you're welcome to grow. Let's try this from the greeters. Welcome to Grow, right? Let's try it from all of our perspectives, right? So we're at Grow Church. How about Grow Youth, Grow Students? How about, are we ready to grow as a church? So what do you say when we move in this facility that our new representation of this church is exactly what we've been doing for so many years in a row, is just grow church? Can I hear from you? Awesome.
And he didn't talk about, so he didn't tell you our website. And I love the website. The new website is going to be, drum roll. You ready? growpeople.church. And I want you all to know that this leadership team here, and I'm not just saying this, we're obsessed with every single person that walks through the doors to grow. Grow in what? Grow in your identity in Jesus Christ. Grow in your authority and walking in his kind of dominion. Growing in understanding what's been given to you. Growing in grace. Growing. Becoming the head and not the tail. The lender, not the borrower. Being what God's called you to be, and it comes through growth. So I want you to know, we didn't just come up with this name. When we actually said it to each other, we went into prayer about it. And then when we brought it to the staff, it was really interesting. Where is she? Marketing team. Where's Christy? Christy's back there. She's on our marketing team. Before we even said the name, it came out of her mouth. She just knew. She knew by the Spirit. So God is really in this. We don't do one thing without prayer and without talking to God, but we really feel set and comfortable with that name. How about you guys? Church is really not about brick and mortar. It's not. You are the church. And I want you to know something, that there are people that are walking through our doors that are encountering the Jesus in you, and they're being transformed. They really are. This church is not about James and I. It's about the people of life. The people of Grow. Oops. All right. This physical building is just a place to do effective ministry and to equip people. And we're going to continue to do effective ministry and equip people to do works of ministry. We're an equipping church. We're not a gathering church. We're an equipping church. And so why do you need a bigger space? Because we have to take care of more people. So now I want to share something that happened to me, because God is doing some amazing things. I mean, obviously, if you've been here for a while, you know God's doing some amazing things in this church. And God's got some big plans for you and for this church, and we're pretty excited about it. But something happened to me during that time that Ron McIntosh came to visit. Remember that? And I was able to really locate some limitations that I had in my belief system. I don't know about you, but that rocked my world, that conference. And one day I was in prayer shortly after that. This is before we knew about the building, before we knew about church swap, any of that kind of stuff. But I was in prayer. And sometimes God says some audacious things to me that I usually don't know what to do with. And I'm so grateful for a staff and a team that just rolls with it. So the Lord spoke to me and he said, you will be moving into a new building and preparing for a church plant at the same time. Now, I just want you to know that when he spoke it to me, I immediately put it out of my mouth to my husband, because he was praying with me, because it was just too audacious for me. Now listen, the Lord's dealt with us years ago that we would plant churches. We don't even have a building, and you're telling me about a building and a church plant? That was my attitude, okay? And I actually told the staff, and I said, so if God spoke that we need to pray that, and we have to prepare in the Spirit, as if that's happening. And of course, they all looked at me, and I began to challenge each one of them. So if we had to go plant a church, who would go? Who have you reproduced? Who would you leave behind? And they all pooped their pants. See, God will always reveal things, but then there's always a time of preparation, okay? So now, again, this is before we knew about this building. This is all happening, okay? Which, again, is pretty shocking, don't you think? Just a little, like, I really don't know what we're doing. So, and then the Lord began to deal with us, the location. And this is before we even knowing where this church was going to be. He really laid it on our hearts and on the hearts of the staff that our next church plant would be towards East Naples. And now it made sense. I mean, that all made sense after we found out about the church swap. Because we have about 500 people in our database from East Naples. And a lot of them will have to travel about an hour and 15 minutes to come here to church. Now for us, we want people to be really invested and involved in the church. Tell me, can you really be that involved and invested that far away? There would be a huge gap left for all of those that are coming from East Naples. So I wanted to share with you that succession. So you've got June, God telling me that there's a church plant coming. We don't even know about this place. The church swap begins to happen end of July. East Naples was already on our lips. So we believe that the next plant will be there. It's not going to be tomorrow. Obviously, we have to do things decently and in order. Well, why? Why plant a church? I want to share just a couple of things statistic-wise. The number one way that people are coming to the Lord today is through new church plants. So our motivation for a church plant is twofold. Number one, we want to get more people saved. And number two, we are not just a gathering church. Jesus said to go and make disciples. So you need to be in that community to make disciples. Are you following me? And there's one thing that I believe about this church, about all of you. You are so life-giving. People walk through the doors, and this is what I hear from every person that comes that's new. There's so much love in this place. I feel so accepted. I feel so believed in. That's coming from you all. So the culture that we've created here is life-giving, and we want to reproduce that wherever we go. So now I'm going to share one more thing, a scripture. Isaiah 54, verses 2 through 3. This particular scripture God gave to me in June 2011 before we ever came to Naples. I didn't know why he gave it to me. I didn't know why I was meditating on it, but obviously after we came to Naples, it kind of began to make sense. It says, enlarge the place of your tent. Stretch your tent curtains wide. Do not withhold back. Lengthen your cords, strengthen your stakes, for you will spread out to the right and to the left. Your descendants will dispossess nations and settle in their desolate cities. So, folks, what does that mean? That our footprint is going to grow from the north, the south, the east, and the west. So we have to recapture lands that the enemy has stolen. We have been praying over Southwest Florida, believing for such a revival. But we have to go to the places that we feel led to go. So what does that actually look like? Well, we don't have all of the details right now. We know that it will be initially a video campus. We'll live stream. But if you in any way are interested in being a part of that team, you live in East Naples and you'd prefer to have a church there, you just want to be a part of our strategy team, even if you're remotely interested, this is what I would love for you to do. We have a vision booth or a vision station. I'm not sure where it is. Where is it at? Right there? First table. So if you're interested in being a part of that team, that launch team that's going to be preparing for that, please just leave your contact information. And as we get into those planning meetings, we will contact you and let you be a part of that. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen immediately. We're going to do first things first. We're going to get into this building and settle ourselves in this building. So that's the first thing. I want you guys to be the first to know we will be planting a church, and there are others to come. I want you to know that when I close my eyes and I'm in prayer, I'm seeing lights in specific cities. And I know that God's calling us to lights to make a difference. And so we wanted to let you in on that so that you're going to be praying in that direction. So another big thing that's coming. So we got a new church name. That's kind of big. There's a new church plant coming. The other thing is this. In this particular facility, it has always been a vision and a dream of ours as a team to have a daycare preschool. So this church will have a daycare preschool. God is doing a lot of things around here. In fact, we personally feel that we have to have tennis shoes on to just keep up with God. And it's been awesome. So we have one more thing for you.
I want to give a big hand, all of us together, for all of the people that are putting so much time and energy into this facility. This is a lot of work. There are people that are in this facility every single day getting this place ready so that when the county says you can go with the permits, we're ready to just do the permitting stuff and then move in. That's what they're doing right now, preparing for that. So the last part of this is the Make Your Mark campaign. You've heard us on Sundays mentioning the Make Your Mark campaign. There's 2 ways today that we'd like you to consider making a mark. And this is a big deal that we've actually never we haven't done in this facility yet. One is that we're going to hand out green markers. Green, why? Because of the new green color. Did you get it? Okay. So green markers all over this place, and I think that we're allowed to write anywhere on the floor. Josie's going to give us the details to that so that I don't screw anything up. But we're going to write our scriptures or our faith project goals or anything that we can think of that we're going to be believing God for in this facility. We're going to do that as a team all over this auditorium before we cover it with flooring. Okay? So as a team, we can say, we prayed over this place, we put our scriptures on that place, and God is doing amazing things, right? So that's the first way that we're going to make our mark. The second way is you've heard us talking about it, we have a couple of iPads out in the lobby that if you have not done the Make Your Mark campaign yet, we would love to have every single person, just even in the smallest way, in any way possible, get involved in the Make Your Mark campaign, because there's still a mountain in front of us to get in this facility with all the needs that we have on that. So in the lobby, I think it is, right?